in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everybody. I trust everybody had a good day. If you're from Melbourne, you would know it's been quite a miserable day down here, raining, cold. You just don't want to get out of the house, I can tell you that now. However, let's talk about the market. I hope I've had the disclaimer up for the past 10 minutes, so I hope you had a chance to go through it, pointing out I am an authorised rep of Mortgage and General Financial Services Pty Limited. The FSL number is as displayed on the screen. I can only give general investment advice in securities, derivatives, and foreign exchange, commodities. I do not know your personal circumstance, so I cannot give any personal advice whatsoever. If you require personal advice, I recommend that you consult a licensed investment advisor that can look into your personal circumstance. In saying that, let's move on. I'm going to switch over the screen now. As usual, we'll have a look at the Dow Jones first and see where we are with it, and I'll cover the S&P 500, gold, of course the XJO. I'll do the Aussie dollar, of course, and some requests that I've had to as what shares people would like to see. Now remember, if you have any request of stocks for me to do in the following fortnight, I usually run these webinars every 2 weeks on a Thursday. Just send them to webinars@phoenixio.com.au with your requests, what instruments you'd like me to analyse. So I only analyse things that you want me to do. So I hope what I'm doing is based on requests of what you've asked. Now, let's switch over the screen and we'll go to the Phoenix screen, just changing over now. And as usual, we'll look at the monthly chart first. Just click on the monthly. It's slow tonight. Could be my internet. Okay, monthly chart. What does it tell us? As of 2 weeks ago, we couldn't really add much to this chart, as I would only say about approximately the same thing. Just as an overview, the dotted line at the bottom is the long-term trend line. The other solid line here is basically considered still quite a medium-term trend line. It has, as you can see, 1, 2, this is counted as close enough to a touch, 3, 4, 5, so it's 5 touches. It's pretty solid. We can respect it when it does something. If it breaks on the downside, we should really got to take it quite seriously. If we look at the red line on top, touching all the peaks across, and you can see the data at the moment is above the red line. So what do we got? We're right at the crossroad here, aren't we? If we have a close look, we really are at the crossroad, and basically it is decision time, as I said, basically last fortnight. It really can't give us any more than that. We are in a very, very tight situation here, as the weekly chart will show, which I'm going to now. Now let me go to the weekly. And look what we got here. You can see the purple line on the top here. As we can see here, it's basically solid right across, and we can see, look, this is just a big brick wall. What is it trying to tell us? Honestly, what is it trying to tell us? It doesn't want to go any higher. We did 2 targets. What we did is, if it decides to break on the upside, this is the target. If it manages to go down below here, this will be the downside target. We really can't do much than that, other maybe we can, let's have a look from here first. No, that's no good. That's no good. Remove that. Have it taken it from the body here. Look, probably that's the next best thing. We can see it really is in a very tight position. Now, even if it broke down on this downside, this is so tight, you can even draw a line right here, okay? If it breaks on the downside, you can see there's going to be possible support there. So we're talking about something that is in a very, very tight range, extremely tight range. So you really can't do much more than that. Let's go to the daily, see if it gives us any more data than that. So what we see on the weekly really is a lot of consolidation, indecision, waiting for something to happen, whatever that something is. And we start looking at this here. This is where we try to do the last line. Look, we can take a license to it. You can see it's all over the place here. Let me just take this. This is useless. So because it broke above and went below, this is really quite useless now. Really, where it belongs is just previous highs. That's where it really belongs at the moment. You might want to say, well, how about here? Can it do anything here? Well, look, there it is there. At the end of the day, even if broke above here, this is our other resistance point. We go to the line from underneath. Really, it's all over the place. So it's telling us it's really not going anywhere. Look, you put it there, still below it. It really, this line here from the tail is really quite invalid. Go from the body, see if it gives us any more data. Look, probably the safest point to put it, and I would use the safest point to put it, is on the low. So to allow it to consolidate in this area, and hopefully something transpires to tell us it's going to go higher. So as we said last week, if I was trading this, I would only trade it on an intraday basis. I wouldn't even consider daily. Okay, there's so much indecision here. I think there's so much confusion. You know, is this going to break on the upside? If it breaks on the upside, God, I really don't know where the top would be. And when you look at price to earnings, you know, how much value is in the share market? Do I trust it? So, got to seriously look at this. I'd be happier if it actually comes off and then rallies back up. That would give it more sense, more meaning. So really, there's nothing much more we can do with this. We're past this point. This is the resistance point that we had, trying to touch the tops here. We can increase it further on, say here. So we have 1, 2 touches, extend it forward, and basically if it does, that'll be the next pre-call. These price projections are irrelevant because they didn't follow through. They stopped well and truly before that. So they really are quite irrelevant, so we can just delete them now. Okay, so there's nothing much we can really say about it. Just be patient with it and let us show us the way, basically. Remember, we trade what we see, not what we think. That is a key that we must follow. We can have an opinion, but we can have an opinion, but at the end of the day, we trade what we see, not what we think. Okay, if we trade what we think, we're going to be all over the place, just jumping from left to right. Again, this is the S&P 500. We really expect to see basically what we saw in the Dow. Let's be realistic. Okay, we can see again this is a huge rising wedge. There's really nothing more it can really tell us. It's just a rising wedge. The prices are inside the wedge. Remember, a rising wedge normally represents a downturn. So is this going to be a reversal? We just don't know. Weekly. Go to weekly. As we can see, exactly the same thing. It's still inside the rising wedge. We can see the purple line on the top here that we put across. Basically, major resistance. And look at it. It is still, you know, just going sideways. It can fit another week quite comfortably in that little thing if it decides to trade. And the fact is, if you really had to, we can technically go a bit lower, even here. Okay? So we can give it more room if we really had to. It's still touching down here and there, which makes it down the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, this is classed as a touch, 5 touches here. Like the Dow, there's a lot of just consolidation, indecision. We just have to really wait and see what it does. If we start a line from here and touch this and continue on and go on top, what we have is an ascending triangle. Now, again, the name ascending, basically what we're saying is we expect it to go up. That's what it normally, but we have to say we are in a huge rising wedge, which is also considered a major reversal pattern. Now, that's confusion and a half, so wait and see what it does before making any serious decisions. Excuse me. Now, let's go to the next one. We're going to have a look at gold. Let's have a look at gold. Actually, we'll have a look at daily. My apologies, I didn't do daily here. Again, looks pretty familiar, doesn't it? We'll go up the top here. Just straighten the line up a bit. Okay, so basically, double tops. This, we can see broken, that's back above, back below. So really this represents, take it down here again if you have to, and down there if you have to. So I go maybe a bit high on this one actually, just there. That's considered a touch, so it's close enough to a touch, just there. So basically we have 1, 2, 3 touches. If you take the line from here, let's just draw it and I'll take it off in a minute, like so, and draw that. That would be also considered an ascending triangle, okay? So when we look at this, we're saying, well, okay, is this an ascending triangle? Keeping in mind on the weekly and the monthly, what do we got? A rising wedge. So again, indecision, we had a flag here, target was there. Remember, when something fails as a flag, it'll fail near its previous peak, which is top of the flag. And sure enough, that's where it failed, went nowhere. Okay, targets from these, as happened here, we saw them to go higher, but they didn't. Again, this double top, it's a resistance, typical failure point. If it fails, that's where generally they fail, around there. So these are useless now. Okay, that was this one worked out. That was the flag from there to the previous high. Target received, fine. We're going to remove it now. It's past its history. So all we can do on this one is basically, again, like the Dow, leave it alone, wait and see what happens till it basically shows the way. When in doubt, stay out. And we're definitely in doubt now. Okay, we'll go to gold. Okay, monthly. Again, you know, the monthly, we've been doing these webinars now, what, for the, I think this might be the 8th one. Say 2 months, every 2 weeks, roughly. And this really, 2 months, we're talking about when we started, we were probably on this bar here, the red one, okay? We're on that bar. All we progressed is to here, basically. So we really haven't progressed. So this story hasn't changed much at all, has it? So we've got a potential mare's tail, okay? We've got this huge broad information. Prices coming back to retest it on the broad information and the mare's tail. And at the same time, we've got a triangle here, which could be a part of a small reversal to run back to there. So again, indecision. We don't know where it's going. Again, if it breaks on the upside, we've got to target up potentially up there. If it breaks on the downside, we've got to target down here. Again, on the monthly, we really can't do much. We'll go to weekly. Now, on the week, what was this? 2 weeks ago, this probably would happen. We had a potential flag, as we can see there. There's a target if it goes on, continues on the upside to 1,264 to 1,279. Like anything else, like we've just did the flags before. Again, let's pay attention here. Look, if it's going to fail, it's going to fail either on this or just a bit below it, like the other ones that we did on the Dow. We saw where they failed. If a flag fails, generally fails around in that spot. Okay, so again, however, if it follows through past this point, this is the target. And again, then we are still in this huge consolidation phase. So in trading this, I know you can trade it intraday. It's a good way to trade it. So I would, in any case, if I was trading this, I would actually trade it on an intraday basis. Still valid. It's on the up. But again, if it breaks and goes to the top here, this is your major resistance point. And that's where your monthly comes into play that we were looking at before. Let's have a look at daily. We had, in the last webinar, we had potentially this candle was in here. It wasn't below this line at the time. We were just in this section. I said this could be forming a bullish flag. And that's why we did this potential target. But the candle broke down, which makes this flag invalid, or potential flag invalid. So we can now remove it and delete that. And this now is invalid there also. This was part of a consolidation that was occurring. So we can remove that there. And let's start looking at it in different set of eyes now. What we do see here is we go right across, like we have there, and we have another one probably just there. Okay, so if we also take it from here, now this is a potential. The only time this line down here becomes valid, okay, only time becomes valid when it actually goes past its previous high. The truth is, there's this previous high up here. So when this goes past that point, then this line becomes valid. Higher highs, higher lows. Remember the old saying that we did in the workshop? Higher highs, higher lows. So we put it there as a potential, because if it does do that and breaks on the upside, what have we got here? We have an ascending triangle. So what have we seen? We've seen the Dow go down. We see gold go up. Now, is that doing the right thing? Potentially. If the Dow keeps going down, we should see this really go up. If the Dow starts to recover, we should this come off. So this is where we are. It's telling us, trade what you see, not what you think, and watch it very carefully. So if we see the Dow start to come off, we're going to see this start to go up. So, and we'll probably see the US dollar come off, and we should see the Aussie dollar rise on that basis. I think which we'll come to not too long from now, we did the Aussie dollar last time, and I think we said potentially it can go up to 82, 83 cents or higher. Now, what have we got here? Just down the bottom here, if we do that and probably that, we have a small pennant. Now, click at the bottom, click to the top, click at the breakout point, and there's your target. We're there already. I'll remove it. It's no point leaving it there. Looks messy. So when we saw that break up and close here, we should have started looking at this point here as a potential run. Now, the only thing we can do now is watch what happens. Is this going to break on the upside? Okay. Or is it going to break on the downside? Now, you can look at this with this set of eyes also from here. Okay. So this is a triangle, and it's telling us higher prices to come. However, we do not trade, or if we trade anything on an intraday or whatever basis, we only trade it to this level. If you're already in, it's worth holding longer, because there is major resistance here. Something looks like it wants to happen, so we need to watch it very carefully. Okay. There's really not much more we can add there. Yes, there's potentially higher. As long as it goes past these levels here, we're going to see higher prices to come. Okay. In fact, if we can actually just 1 second, take this just a little bit lower, just have a look at something. Just have a look where that is. Yeah, pretty much on the line, isn't it? Yeah. So that's its consolidation to the bodies. However, that's basically using this, and cutting across those, and happens to cut across there. Now, that's the minimum. I would rather be more conservative, and I would rather go to the top of that one. All right, I'd rather go to the top of that. Just in case he sticks his nose through and comes back down, you get caught out. All right. So just remove this one here, was a potential. And if it went below this point, it didn't. So that's where it is. So that's the XAU. Now, let's start looking at some Aussie shares. We'll look at the index first. And the XJO. Excuse me. Okay, monthly again. Technically, I went to extremes here. This is a potential bullish flag. That's what we try to say here. Okay, like so. It is currently below, but remember, this is a monthly, and that can go close back above it. But again, This is its previous high, so it's had a higher high. Okay, this is its previous low. It's potentially can have a higher low. We don't know yet. It could come down lower. We don't know. But again, this is in a decision-making mode. It is back below this point here, which gives more weight. It's harder to go back above, so we have to wait and see what its action will be. We can accelerate because it had a higher high. We can accelerate the trend, so we can actually go from here and also probably to there. Okay, so that's an accelerated trend also. I'll mention the word sandwich again. We had this particular dash line as the trend line. If we clone this, we can put it parallel, and we can see support here, brick wall there. Okay, so is sandwiched in between lows and highs, which makes it pretty strong. That's what we said last time here. This will have a hard time breaking above this line. I mean, it can quite easily keep trending up this line, but it will have a hard time trying to break that line. So we'll have to wait and see on the monthly. Let's go to the weekly. We had this consolidation phase, and as it was breaking through, we did a down target last webinar, and we can see it hit the target. Again, this is its previous high. It's now sitting pretty much above this line. So what we can expect is, again, consolidation here. And if we look at this weekly chart, we take this high and that high and extend the line forward, we can see all these brick walls that it had, telling us it's going to have a hard time breaking through this, and it certainly has. Now, in saying that also, taking this uptrend line, and it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and looking at this red line now above, this now creates a new rising wedge for the XJO, by the way. So I think it's important to heed some of these warnings, and because if this breaks below it, obviously we're going to start looking at new lows. If that happens, that's where we are there. So if it breaks below this rising wedge, we start looking at potential down to 5,000. We don't know. Right now, like the Dow Jones, our market appears to be indecision or consolidation, at least anyway for now. It hit its top target. I think we did that last time here. I'll just do it again just to remind everybody. From here to there to its breakout point, that's its target. The other target was body, if you went conservatively, is right on the mark also. So it hit the target. It's been consolidating for how long? Just delete these also. And it was making this little triangle, major, double top there on the weekly. Looks better on the daily. We'll have a look at it shortly. And basically consolidate it, break on the downside, hit a target, consolidating, and we just have to wait and see to give us other direction. Let's look at the daily, see if it gives us any more. This is what we were looking at on the weekly. We can see the tops, which is really 1, 2, 3, triple top, almost a quadruple top. Okay, came back off, tried and failed. It had here, whoever was watching it last week or so, you can see if we clone that, is a bearish flag. Now, is it doing the same thing here? Let's have a look. I don't know. Oh, maybe not. Let's have a look. Well, maybe yes. Well, look, I'll just leave it there, and you need to watch what happens, because if this comes back down, you're going to have another target down. However, did it hit the target from this bearish flag? From the top, 2 conservative bodies if you want to use, here's your target. Okay, so you need to be seriously watching it here. It has broken this accelerated trend line that we had. In fact, stopped right there, created the flag, and then continued right through to this. So I strongly recommend watch this very seriously, because if this comes down, I use the word if, trade what you see, not what you think. This has got a tail and a big wick. If I take the wick, I go to the lowest body, which is here, and I'm only going to estimate the break, which is roughly there, I might say. Did I do this? No, I didn't do it right. My apologies. I'll do it again. Start again. Starting it from the top. If I take the wick, I go to the lowest body, and I'm estimating the break to there. Then you're going to start looking around the 5400 mark. Okay, so you need to watch that very carefully. I'll leave it there for now, but remember, this is only if it breaks, and that is only if it is a flag there. Okay, only if it's a flag. Confirming this price target, usually when there's major price targets, consolidations occur, so it's worth considering. Besides, was there another target here other than the flag down to this layer here? If we get our price targeting tool, basically this ascending triangle, we go from here to the bottom to its breakout, and it gave us a target close enough to it, which is good enough. Okay. In addition, if we just delete that first, we've got two touches here and there, 1, 2. We can draw a line right across. Let's just continue this line. Okay, there's a line there and there's a top there. Because it's a major consolidation phase, we can, again, click from here, click to the bottom, and click to the breakout. And it's telling us it should have a lower price to go, just purely from that. So it looks like, looking at this, the XJ's got lower prices to come. But if this is the flag, wait for it to, if you're looking for an entry price, wait for it to show its break before you start jumping in. Now you might want to use a 60 minutes or 180-minute chart to close in to have a look at it in a bit more detail, trying to get a better entry price. So that's the way I would look at it. And in fact, if we start looking, get my crosshair here, if we look at this, you know, where the previous accelerations were when the price started to move up, when it broke through certain levels, these are it here, right across. So that will give us some credibility here. In addition, what we see in this consolidation phase, it broke below, it came in like a retest at the moment. This is considered like a retest. Now, if this is a bearish flag and breaks through, that would add a lot of weight to a really good trade here. So watch it, start watching it for tomorrow or maybe for Monday. Okay, now that was the XJO. Actually, probably worthwhile, I'll do the Aussie dollar first. And see how we go from there, eh? Where's the Aussie dollar? Might be worthwhile doing this first because of what's happening. Because if our stock market will go down, meaning it's projecting that the US will probably do the same, and we should see a rise to the Australian dollar. So it's probably worth following through to do the dollar. What we can see on the Aussie dollar, this is the monthly, of course, and we can see that it's really stopped. When you look at this dotted line, it really has stopped at a consolidation phase, hasn't it? Like major bottoms, bottom, bottom, and bottom. You know, we can play a little bit on this because technically speaking, you're always trying to give it the best possible fit. And you can see this can actually even fit there, right on it, in fact, look. If we really wanted to, or just about there, or just leave it on the lines just there. This is good enough for consolidation. It actually hit our target down here that we did. Okay, so the down target was met, and that's using the breaking point from this triangle to the down. Okay. Basically, if we grab all the lows and just go right across, it literally stopped on a major resistance point right now. Okay. I'm not saying it's not going to go any higher, but that's where it's saying consolidation bit time. Let's look at the weekly. Now, this is what we did in 2 weeks ago. We did a potential target up to 82.4 to 83.5, and it looks pretty good to be on track to go there. So this is our consolidation phase, and it's based out of the consolidation phase to this target. There really isn't nothing else that I can do to the weekly chart at the moment other than probably just go now to the daily. We can see this previous low. We can see right across on the line here. It's where it's struggling. So I'm assuming it'll just consolidate here for a little bit longer before it does anything else. Let's go to daily. Again, consolidation phase as we did before. When we looked at it 2 weeks ago, we're saying, is this going to be a bullish flag? Because this red candle that broke below it, let me just move this crosshair out of the way. This candle, that red candle that broke below the bottom line, basically was inside a line at the time, and we thought if it occurs, well, that's where it is. It could be. So that wasn't to be. Remove that. Now, we've got a couple of things going here on our daily chart. First of all, we have a trend line. We have also, if you look at this line from here, okay, a triangle. We also have clone a bullish flag. So we've got everything going here. We can understand why the price is struggling here is because basically it's all in layers, and here we can see one layer is there. We can see the other one up here is here, and the other layer is underneath. Okay, like so. So the price is continually in this struggle. Let's have a look at price targeting. I'll clean it up a little bit. First of all, the bullish flag is telling us it hit the target, so that's useless to us now. I'll just remove it. This triangle, target, telling us higher prices to come. I'll leave that one there because it's valid. And if we clone this parallel line, all right, I know it's only got the one touch, but primarily I'm just cloning a line where a line of potential resistance is. So that's where the potential resistance is, which is really on our price target. I'll just clean it up a little bit. This one and this one. So the way I see it is we're still looking good for an up move, a continuation to the upside. Technically, this, I put it tighter, but it can also be equally correct there, a bit higher. So I'll just leave it on the high mark now, but it can technically go on this body here, which it'll be still just as valid. Okay, there really isn't much more we can do. I mean, we can look at past history and say, you know what, that's still valid there, which is triangular, okay? But how much weight does it give us right now? We've got enough targets anyway, so let's have a look. Which got a better target than that's it. That's irrelevant now. We can take that off too. Oh, wrong one. Damn. Okay. Anyway, so the Aussie dollar, according to the daily chart at least, we're looking at higher prices. Let's go to intraday. Okay, this is, I'll do 180 minutes first. Oh, that was silly of me. Yeah. 180 days, just getting more data. Should have done that earlier, save the trouble. I'll go back to 60 and I'll come back to this later. Or else we'll be waiting for it. Okay, 60 minutes, what do we got? They're not giving us very much, actually. So we have a broadening formation. Is this going to be a potential flag? I don't know. We clone this. Okay. So we really, actually, this is not giving us very much at all. I thought I could get a bit more than that out of this one. About 30 minutes. Okay. I think maybe it will be a bearish flag looking at this on the 30-minute. Clone. Well, if this is a bearish flag, okay, so it means it'll break down to the downside. If it does tonight, this will be a pretty good trade. Just estimating. You'll be looking down to the low 80s, so not bad. Okay, if that's a bearish flag, looking pretty good. Looking at a 30-minute chart here, that broke below here. Basically, we can see it broke below, retest, and then failed. I'll go back to the 180-minute now, actually, and see if we've got anything. Geez, we're not getting too much. Really is not giving us much at all. Yeah. So even if it goes down to the low 80s, it's still part of the same pattern here, which overall this pattern tells us that target higher prices to come. There's your 82 that we originally said. So out of this pattern, it's telling us it's going to go higher, although we got a consolidation phase to a retest back to potentially down these levels, the low 80s levels, before it continues to move up. So we have a potential trade here, fellas and ladies. So watch it carefully. You'll possibly have it tonight. I know our hotshot trader Victor's online, and hopefully he'll probably be looking at the Aussie dollar for later. So we'll see how we go. Okay, that's the Aussie dollar. Look, based on time, I'll come back to other currencies. I'll have a look at the banks I've been asked to do. I know I've been asked if we can do some additional instruments just at the moment. However, I can only do the ones that I've actually already got, and I've updated my data and so forth. And if time permitting, I'll do others also. Okay. So please, if you really want something done, give it to me in advance. Now, why is this one here? Why did this occur? I don't know why that occurred. Oh, this is intraday. Of course. Here we are. ANZ. What have we got? Looking at ANZ, we can see, again, in the past, you can see this huge rising wedge, and we saw what happened after that, can't we? We've got another rising wedge. And this time, it is right on the line. It did break a bit below it. This is monthly. It's recovered back inside it. So, very dangerous. If this breaks below, I think we're going to have a bit of a downer. So we might be getting a bounce from here, so we have to wait and see. But the monthly tells us we are in a rising wedge. It is at the bottom of the rising wedge at this moment. So let's have a closer look on the weekly now. What does the weekly tell us? We had a potential up target to $41, $42. And what we said, the biggest problem that we got is we only traded to this line because it's a lot of resistance here. In addition, we had a sandwich that we showed, this red line. So touch here, touch there, broke above it, all right? But then the price came in and resisted the other way. It's a sandwich. So we were major brick walls. Even though this is the top, we saw a lot of struggle here, and we said last fortnight, the last webinar that we did, this is dangerous. Be very, very careful. I wouldn't feel too comfortable trying to see, unless I'm from here. I would be happy to sit on it for a while, but if I saw any adverse, I'd be getting the heck out of there. Now, we saw price coming down 2 weeks ago, and we said we hope to see to trade come dividend. We saw continuation down, so we really, let's have a look at it on a daily in more detail. We also saw a bearish flag. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and that broke on the downside. Bearish flag, there was a target that we saw, and of course went down towards its target. What else do we got here? In addition, just have a look. There's nothing else there that was telling us anything else, actually. We only had a target of around 33.65. It's actually gone well and truly below that and recovered back close to that. Just have a look a bit closer here. Is it now? Corporate action. So it paid its dividend here, basically where the blue is. And it was, even although it went X on that date, it was still going down. So there you go. And it's just recovered after that. Really, right now, looking at the bank, I'd be watching it closely if it's going to break my monthly or the weekly. Just have a look again on those two. I can see why it stopped there. Its consolidation phase is just there. So I can understand why it stopped there. But if it does break below this point, we have a look at the monthly, it would look quite dangerous if it closes below this price. So from something that were potentially optimistic, 2 to 4 weeks ago, it really turns quite pessimistic quite quickly. So I would say to anyone that's holding this, if that breaks and closes below, especially when you convert this to a weekly here, okay, there it is there, I'd be seriously, this line can move a little bit lower, just 1 second there. Probably put it to its extremes, I think it'd be wiser. Like there, that's where it really is. If that closes below there and starts to edge down, I would say we're going to go down for a little while. It's going to maybe for 2-3 months if it does do that. So seriously, anyone that's holding that, you should consider maybe options if you want to hold the stock, or if you're just trading it, maybe time to close out and rethink what you do next. I'll have a look and see if National Australia Bank is doing the same. Again, National Australia Bank stopped right on the top of not the best looking rising wedge, but still considered rising wedge on a monthly. Touch from here, touch, stop right on the top, hit the target, major resistance. The interesting thing about it, if this goes down, okay, we're looking into here, but what is it doing here? Again, this is only potentials, because it is decision time. Is it going to basically consolidate and rally upwards again? Remember, we just did ANZ, and that was at the bottom end. Now, it could bounce from there. We just don't know. All I'm saying is if it closes strongly below there, and if you're a long-term holder, I wouldn't be. Okay, we saw what rising wedges do in the past, and this would not be any different. This will be pretty much the same. Okay, so that's the way I would be treating it. On the other hand, if that's at the bottom and rallies up, well, potentially then here we are, a potential bullish flag again, which I find it hard to believe again. But anyway, anything's possible. However, major resistance, even though it could be bullish, again, you trade to the flag, and if it breaks above, then we can start rethinking. But again, this rising wedge is holding true. The resistance, again, didn't allow the stock to go much higher, so I would be watching again carefully here. If we see this fail, obviously this won't be a bullish flag then. We'll start seeing it come back down, and who knows, it might go down to the bottom line again also. Go to the daily. Yep, last fortnight we had targets to this. It certainly went and truly below it. In addition, this one had shown a bit more colors. You can see here, by the way. And you can see a pennant and potentially the target to the highest body to its breakout point. And there's your target on this one. This one actually gave us, the thing is when we're looking at banks, it's important, even though you're trading one bank, it's important to look at the other banks because they tend to do similar things. In other words, maybe one pattern's not as clear as one as on the other one. Like we saw ANZ, I couldn't get another lower target, yet here we are looking at National Australia Bank, we got another target and we saw where that went. At least that tells us, you know, don't buy anything, just stay out of it and watch it and see what happens. So it's important to, when you look at that, here's one there, and look at it for what it is. Now that for some reason my data points moved there. Originally we had a bearish flag there, they gave us that price. Then we had a pennant, they gave us that price. Now we're looking consolidation, probably will consolidate in this area. I would not be surprised if it rallies up and closes this gap. Things tend to close gaps. It's like we had a gap here where they go next. Of course, we saw it come up and close the gap, then moved up after that. All right, so it's like the dividend here. So we can see when X, and yet it came up and closed this gap, okay, and so forth. So I would not be surprised if that would be the case. Okay, that's National Australia Bank. Again, yes, it can probably come back down lower. Here's its major support. Okay, on the weekly, major support there. So next one, CBA. I'm doing all the banks here. CBA, almost all. Oops. Might help if I actually click into it. Tell you what, this one doesn't look very nice, especially here. I'll come to it shortly. Excuse me. Let's look at monthly. Now, again, here we are. This went above it on the monthly, hit its price target, then we're back on the major support area. Now, this is scary stuff, actually. It really is scary stuff. Now, let's have a look for a moment. Is there something else, another one here I can have a look at? Just one sec. Well, I should have saw that last week too, and I didn't. Again, we can see, hit the target, support area here. We got a touch, 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 and the fourth touch. I didn't pick it up last week or last fortnight. At the bottom, we got a touch, 2 touches, 3 touches, 4 touches, and we're right on it now. If this breaks, we have lower prices to come. This is monthly, remember. Looking at the weekly, we were looking at a potential flag, and of course didn't eventuate. If it did, it would have been at this top end. Did not occur, so broke down, went the other way. Let's remove this. That price target was based off that, and obviously didn't eventuate down. If we do what we did on the monthly, we can go back to this point, which I didn't see last week, unfortunately. And look, my goodness. 1, 2, and then that became the third also. Okay, so again, what we have here is in the bottom consolidating in this point. If this breaks below, we have lower prices to come. Now, I can't do a target off to a downside off the weekly. There's nothing there for me to do. Unless this goes for another week around here, makes a bearish flag, and then we have a lower target. It'll be a nasty one if that happens, I can say. If we look at the daily now, geez, it was looking so fantastic only a month ago. Look at this, we had hit our big targets, hit our 96 bucks, and since then, it lost, what, $15 already. It's unbelievable, isn't it? We only had targets to this on the downside. That's all we had, is just had targets to this. It went that much more. That's why it's important. Excuse me. When we're looking, as I said, at other banks, see if they got more targets down. Do they give us any information saying, you know, maybe we should hold a short position if that was the case? But what are we looking here? Well, the thing is, I was thinking, do I do this? I can't really do that because this is still the active bar. If there was another bar lower, I could say, yeah, I can. However, just delete this little line first. We can draw definitely this line here. If the price breaks below this line here, we can say, yep, that's valid. Draw your line, you can do a target. All right, say you can put an imaginary line for now if you want, but let's see if we clone it, if it does anything. Sometimes, you know, we don't see things till we do things. Where's my arrow? A bit higher. Now, that's not bad. You know, that really does look like a bearish flag. Again, trade what you see, not what you think. It can look like a bearish flag, but it's only a bearish flag when it does what a bearish flag does, breaks to the downside. And remember, where would it fail if it fails? If it fails, it'll fail around between here and probably around here, in this range here, if it fails. But if it follows through, your targets will go from the tail to the lowest. Well, I can't use the lowest body here because it closed up there, so I'll have to use where this red candle is and estimate a break, and then you'll be looking down to a $76 target from, you know, 84 at the moment, or 83 when it breaks through. If it goes to around 76 from 83, you're looking at another $7 move to the downside. So it's something that will be worth looking at, studying, and potential trade. All right, so please, again, trade what you see, not what you think. So looks great, but it's got to follow through. So I would probably start looking at it on a 180 minute and a 60 minute and probably trying to trade, and I'll try to get in as high as I can, and if it fails there, to get the hell out of there, and if it comes back in, I'll just jump right back in for this target. That's the way I'd be treating it. If you're an investor, I'd be a bit worried right now. Like I said, we are, when you look at a monthly chart of this, we are on the low side of a major trend, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches already, which has proven itself, and we are right on the line. So just remember that. What do we got here? Somebody said NAB going ex-dividend tomorrow, 99 cents. Wouldn't dividend affect the chart and price action? Absolutely good. Let me go. I'll go back to NAB in a sec, actually, just to check that out. Where are we? NAB. What do we got here? Corporate actions on. So, well, have a look at NAB. What we were talking about NAB before, we said, is this a potential on the monthly chart, the last one on the right-hand side? Is this a potential bullish flag? Well, when it goes X, it'll be at the bottom of this, obviously. But we are a long way from the bottom trend line. Okay, so even though it could go X here, it will not break the bottom trend line. Okay, we're a long, long way from it. okay? So yes, it can go. I mean, sitting currently at what price? Let's have a look. Where's my crosshair? It's currently sitting at, last is 35.49. So you're looking at 35.49, 34.49, 34.50 something cents. So you're looking at back to around these bottoms here, okay? So yeah, I said, I think you might have pointed out because I said, close the gap. Well, yeah, it can come back down here and next week it can be back up here. So what we're saying is trading, all right? This is not long-term views at the moment. It's all just about trading. I always get very worried when we are at a bottom of a trend and we're thinking upside. I'm happy when it starts to create bullish patterns to the upside. Then I can say, yep, this is following through on the upside, not the downside. Once it gets too close to the bottom and there's a lot of indecision to what the market can do, or there's a lot of negativity and so forth, then it's got a decent chance or decent probability of breaking to the downside, and then we can go down for a little while. We might have a downtrend for up to 3 to 6 months. So that's what we've got to watch. Okay, that was CBA. The next one I'll do is Westpac. Okay, that's obviously trading as come dividend also at the moment. I can see the last dividend here on this weekly, so it's probably due. Yeah, it's sometime in May, so probably also tomorrow or next week. I'll have to have a look what dates they'll be done. Looking at monthly again. See, we had seen really, this was staying up there for such a long time. This has broken below, but the real trend on the upside is still here on this bottom line. So the way this has been trading, it really that means not much, because if this is the real trend line, the big one, okay, that's the real trend line. In fact, if anything, the real trend line is even from down here, okay, like that, which is, in fact, that's the way I'll do it, and I'll delete the other one. Okay, that's where it really is. Okay, and I can probably, just to make it fit better, I can, that one, hold it a second, I'll move it, rearrange it. I just went to the body. Like, oops, come here, you. I'll leave it as dotted, like so. Okay, that's where the real trend line is, if you want to look at it from that perspective. And it almost looks parallel, doesn't it? Horizontal that way and that one that way. We can see, again, the tops, where that hit. We said if it closes above and continues, it can potentially go to $45. But this was a major, as we said, what we've been saying for a while, major brick wall. It's got to clearly close strongly above that, and I wouldn't call that strongly. It's a little bit above it, but then it failed in the following month anyway. So it didn't follow through to a higher high, so we got the down. Again, the way I would be treating it now with this, because this is the real trend line, we got support there, probably support there. So these will be the points of support. If it breaks through one to the other, obviously I'll be looking at lower time frames and see if there's any bearish, potential bearish targets or patterns. Again, looking at the weekly, there's nothing really much you can tell me on the weekly other than it broken, when you go right across this way, it had broken below these particular points, and the closest one that we got for the next one probably be this one here. There you go. So that's where we'll probably be looking for it, just there. Daily, really, weekly doesn't give us any more than that. Yeah, it's not the best, I gotta say, not the cleanest. Potentially, this is what we're looking at. The only difference is we don't have a decent pole, do we? there's a gap here. Let me put corporate action for a minute, just have a look. So it has gone ex-dividend a couple of days ago on this one, Westpac. So it's trading ex-dividend now, so that's fine. You know, this potentially, if this continues to go down, I mean, we've got support there, but if it continues to go down, you're looking around 31.63 to 31.30, which is pretty much overall when we did this target here, if it broke on the downside. So, geez, these financials are not looking the best at the moment, are they? Okay, that was Westpac. What do we got then? Oh, somebody asked for Suncorp here. Oh, sorry, just read another question somebody asked me, 1 second. It says CBA went ex-dividend on Monday a few days ago. Okay. Hold it a second. Where are we here? It's just 1 second. CBA. So, a few days ago, February. Either I'm missing data, but I don't agree with the question. Someone said, sorry, it was WBC, not CBA. That's fine. That's okay. Just remember, if you want to basically know where the dividends and corporate actions and everything else are, just have a look here. Just put corporate action, the CA button on top. You can turn them on and off. And if you want to go further, I mean, you can look at the dilution histories, dividend histories. You can look, you can find out what's going on today, or what's coming up and so forth. Everything's on the system, so you can get all the historical information on here. Sorry, what else has got? No, CPA doesn't go. Oh, that's right. Just everybody's just commenting on the same thing. That's fine. No worries. Okay, let's move on. We was going to do Suncorp next. Okay, Suncorp. Well, I mean, no matter which way you look at it, looking at Suncorp on a monthly, the trend is still up. So, yeah, I mean, we've got a bit of a down, obviously, but overall the trend's up. There's nothing much more we can really say about it. I mean, he had an accelerated trend at this point here, which has now left it, and it's on the way down, and it's retested it. But that's basically it. Can't really say much more on the monthly. Weekly. Weekly. There's nothing much on that part. Where's my arrow? That was initially there. Actually, delete that one. Looks better. And we have lower lows, lower high, lower low. So it's definitely a slow down move, accelerating downwards. But it doesn't give us any more than that at the moment. Oops. Just stuffed it up. Yeah. Now, if it is a bearish flag, then we've got lower prices to come. We don't know. All we can make an assumption is I'll draw it as I see it, and hopefully something will come out of it. Now, if we have a look at the one before that here, and we clone that one, cloning glass, you can see we had it there, and we do a price projection. We go from the top here to the bottom there to the breakout there. It was telling us we had lower prices to come. Okay, so low prices to come. And we go to the daily now and see if he gives us any more information. And what do we got? Look, at the end of the day, it's trending. It's basically, there's its high, there's its low, there's its high, which is lower than that, making a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay, so it's continually making a lower low, so it's trending down, and we can join it like so. Look, okay, so we are in this daily channel. We can see also from the daily here. That's why it's important to watch this, who's ever trading this one or holding it. We can see that gave you an opportunity to tell you it's going to go lower. Okay. When it did that, you had a target from here to there to there, and it obviously did go lower. But right now, it's still in the upswing, and we don't know how high it's going to go at this point in time. But according to the weekly one, it's telling us it has got lower prices to come. That's what the weekly is saying. There's no reason to disbelieve it, because it's, from a trend analysis point of view, lower highs, lower lows. Okay, and that's what it's doing consistently. So this one here, even though it's got a bit of an up move, I'd be watching it carefully for the next downswing, because it has made lower lows and lower highs. Geez, it's pretty terrible actually. There's not much you can talk about tonight. All of them are indecision. You know, last time, up to about a month ago, a month and a half ago, we had trades potential. Here's a target, that's a target, and so forth. I've got another one here. This is AMP now. Since it's financial services, let's have a look at it. Geez, this one's just as bad, isn't it? Again, the upswing, this is a monthly chart, and look, you have to say this certainly does look like a flag, bullish flag that is. Clone. And I cannot stop repeating enough. A flag is only as good as it looks, and that looks pretty good, but we have to follow through till it breaks. Now, as long as it breaks on the upside, then we say it's a bullish flag. If it doesn't, it can only fail. Okay, so again, potentially to watch, but I'm surprised when we look at the banks where they are. Again, this is financial services, so there's more insurance than anything else, I'm assuming. So there's an up target if this follows through on the monthly. On the weekly, let's have a look. Where are we? You have, oops, wrong one. And to grab that to go across, we can see touch, and really is struggling. And really what we're looking at the bottom is no different now here. So we've got to pretty much, I'm using the two greens, okay? This is consolidation. If this breaks to the upside, then we've got an up move. If we breaks to the downside, then we have a down move down to there. So all I can do is do two targets. Again, the monthly suggests up, however, but the weekly says either way. So again, if you're a trader, you don't particularly care. You trade what you see, not what you think. So here to the downside, and here to the upside. There you go. Pretty much matches the monthly, doesn't it? Okay. Daily. Again, all we can do is extend the line. And extend this line. Oops, come here, you. Extend this line. It's probably like that. Okay, so if it breaks on the downside or the upside, we sort of did that similar thing last time. That's why we've got those there. Anyway, again, there's not much you can do. We originally had, you can see there's a bearish flag here. And the target down on that is below the line. So remember what we're saying, if it's going to fail, it'll fail at the line. So trade it to the line, or to its bottom of the top of the flag there, the head. And if it fails, it'll fail there, and you need to watch it and get the heck out of there. Okay. So again, this is more consolidation. This is what it's telling us, all this thing. The only time decision will come is when he breaks one way or the other. So it's been there now since basically February, and we are currently in May, so it's been there for a little while. Excuse me. Back to that. The analysis has taken quite a while tonight, actually. I was asked to do healthcare. Let's have a look at healthcare now, which is XHJ. XHJ. Again on a monthly. We sort of on the monthly did go past our target. We don't know what to expect right now on the monthly. It doesn't give us much information. Could this be a flag even? You know, bullish flag? I don't know. All I can do is put a potential line and see how it plays out. If it plays out right, great. If it doesn't, bad luck. We can then go to the weekly and see if that tells us the same or tells us no way, Jose. We hit our targets as we saw. So we'll get close, just clean that up right now. This accelerated trend line has, the price has penetrated it now. Okay, so it's penetrated the accelerated trend line. Doesn't really give us much more than that, I have to say, other than, you know, potential support right across the tops here and consolidation. That would be good if it does, because what that basically says, if it actually consolidates around here, potentially, remember the month there was potential bullish flag, who knows? So that's looking good if it does consolidate there. Going to the daily, we had a potential target, we hit it. I'll accelerate that line. Well, that'll be nice if it does actually, because if that stops here, what that basically tells us that, you know, the monthly might be looking quite good. That was a flag to this target. Actually, what this is also, I should have picked it out last time when I did it. I don't know why I didn't see this, but from here, like so, from here, like so, this is basically a horn, okay, which is really a, more often than not, if it occurs at higher prices, it's usually a small reversal. So in other words, from here to there, to its breakout, and that's your lower target again. I just didn't see that, I apologize, when I did that last time. I should have picked it up. And there really is nothing else other than support. And it is one of these webinars now that all we're talking about is wait and see. And again, if this is support here and it consolidates and starts to reverse up, as we saw on the monthly, this potentially can start going to the upside again. And that would be a bullish flag, and that would have a long way to go on the upside. So it's something to put on your watch file. Okay, that was healthcare. I've been asked also Telstra, Woodside to do. So do Telstra and Woodside, TLS. Now, when we're looking at Telstra, we originally hit a major target here, and it has been consolidating. We've got a potential bullish flag, and even though this is a red bar here, it is still valid, okay? It's still a bullish flag. We just have to watch it and see how it plays out. So let's go to weekly. We did try to replicate this on the weekly, but didn't quite work out the same, did it? Let's have a look. Like so. I'll delete that one. And really, that's that now. How many bars have we got in this thing? From here. 14 bars. So it's 14 weeks. It'll be all right on a daily, but not the best on the weekly, unfortunately. That's past the flag or pennant mark, and it's not enough bars to say this is a descending triangle on the weekly. So it really is just a consolidation phase. It's in a small triangle. That's all we can really say about it, and we can't really do much with it. Let's go to a daily. Hopefully they'll give us a bit more better data. And there. That's not the best either now. It's like that now. This trend is not, this line's no good anymore. And we can delete this one, yep, definitely delete that. Actually, didn't just check that out again. Actually, that's what it does belong. It means it's broken there, it's retesting that, and it has failed, basically. All we can really add to this daily now on Telstra is we don't know what it's currently doing. However, we can put a potential flag if this breaks on the downside. Or is this going to consolidate in this phase here? Again, they all seem to be watch and see. Just keep your patterns up to date and see which way they're going to go. I mean, excuse me, be looking at, I mean, you can trade this if you're looking at maybe on a 60 minutes or, or so. So if you want to break it down further, you can start looking how to trade it in straight for those that have got the time to do it. So potentially you can do things like that because they are in a consolidated phase, and it's probably the best way to trade it anyway. That's Telstra. The next one I will do is Woodside Petroleum, WPL. They really are in this consolidation phase, aren't they? All of them, decision time. Just Oops, wrong way. We're still exactly like before. This is monthly anyway, but it's in a consolidation phase. What is it going to do? I have absolutely no idea. Which way is it going to break? I have no idea. We just have to watch and see it, how it breaks. Looking at it on the weekly, let's have a look at that. That's where we're looking at before. We can probably do that. Really decisions. It doesn't know what it wants to do. Go down to the daily. Look at that. That's probably the better looking one now. It's more consolidation phase now than anything else, actually. And again, even if you were looking at this seriously, you'd be looking at potentially there and also the dotted line. This is how you probably would look at it and how serious whatever move it makes. It really is very messy. It's not something that I'd like to jump on. It's very messy. I mean, the only one that we've got cleaner, I use the word cleaner, is it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, even though it's a 5th touch in there, but it went above it and below it. So you want to see solid close, no matter what it is. It really is a very messy instrument to look at and to try to trade. I hate to say this, but I haven't had much success tonight in a lot of these because a lot of them are so indecision. Next one I was asked is AZK. I don't even know what this one is, actually. AZK. Asiana, ordinary. Don't even know what they do. I'm assuming it's some sort of mining. Well, a monthly is not going to give us much, is it? From down to probably, what, 0.2 of a cent or less, 0.13 of a cent, to a high of 62. I'd love to have that. Weekly, I don't know what to make out of this. We have, this is only bar to bar, by the way, so that. And I can't really do any top line. I can only do a bottom line. That's bar to bar support. That's about it. On a daily, let's have a look at the daily. Clone. How many bars have we got there? 12 bars. Now, just to recap, everybody, remember what we say, a flag's only as good as it looks. The maximum for a daily flag is 13 bars, okay? And it starts to deteriorate the quality of the move that you're going to get, okay? On a weekly, we say, you know, you can have up to 13, but the minimum is 2 for a weekly and the minimum is 3 for a daily. Now, looking at this, if we have a look at some price targeting, this was the previous move, its target, and now where we are, if it breaks on the upside, we don't know, okay? The bottom of the flag is here, which is probably the, see, it's not the best either. if it goes on the upside. Now, that's only assuming that is a bullish flag. Now, I've got to say there's a lot of bars. There's 12 bars in there right now, and the maximum you should have is 13. That means tomorrow, if it doesn't go on the upside, it exceeded it, so you can't even, you start looking at, is this going to be a small channel? So I apologize again on this one, but I don't have enough data to do much more than that, other than it's consolidating. Now, that was okay. The next one is CCL. CCL. Monthly. Hit our target. I hope this is what I'm seeing is this making a bullish flag? Again, we can only trade what we see, so potentially if this is a bullish flag, then we got upside to come. Let's go weekly now. We hit our weekly target. You've got to expect, this is a reversal pattern, by the way. This is a inverse head and shoulder, an upside down head and shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, and a symmetrical triangle, target hit, okay? Consolidating now. Obviously, we get this extending line that's gone past it, so you would have hoped it would have stopped before that, but it didn't, so this is useless at the moment. We can say that if it consolidates here, then we can remove this line and put this line underneath if it starts to move up again. We really can't say any more than that at this point in time. We can start looking at the daily. This price target, where that came from? This was a potential flag of pennant. I don't know if this price target came from there or not. Just have a look. That's that price target, so this wasn't it there. So I don't know where this one come from actually. Must have been from the top here. That hasn't hit. Now I'll just remove the bottom one. Potentially this could be a bullish flag just there. So let's just clean up this one here too, just move it out of the way for now. I'll just remove this one. Okay. So we can see what we're doing. If this is a bullish flag, will be fantastic. Means a potential good trade on the weekly is coming up. Okay. So it's one to watch, because if this breaks to the upside, and again, this is only a potential trade, so please don't say this is where it's going. Only if it breaks on the upside, then we'll be starting looking to rally back up towards the $10+ mark. Okay, so let's look at the daily. Oh, this is the daily, sorry. So just I want to reconfirm the weekly, 1 second. Weekly gave us nothing. Okay, this is a nice, if this holds this pattern, part of the Japanese candlesticks, this is a reversal pattern to the upside as a rally, if it holds this pattern. And of course, we have on the monthly, as we said, a potential bullish flag. If that happens, then we've got a huge continuation pattern to the upside. This will confirm, the daily will confirm. So I would watch it very carefully if you're looking for a trade. CCL could be a good trade to the upside. Okay. And West Farmers, one more, West Farmers. Hasn't changed much. Again, huge consult. This is there for over a year. In fact, we said it's been consolidating here for 25 months, 2 years. Okay, so it's not something that I would like to hold that long. Obviously, maybe it's paying a fantastic dividend. I haven't been following it. So, but looking at the weekly, again, I mean, we can see here, there's your high, there's your low, there's your lower high, lower low, but this is an equal, you can class it almost like an equal high there. So we just don't know. It's got to break one way or the other. This is going, I'm not saying going anywhere till it breaks. The only thing I'd be looking at is very short-term trading. Okay, if you're looking at for that or for some sort of options, I'd say not an issue. But I will look at a short-term trading. Looking at this from here, look, this is very tight. But if you clone, we got a bullish flag to the highest body, to the breakout point. And look, you're back to previous highs, $46. Now, this is already the second day, third day it's coming tomorrow. So if this were to fail, you'd be looking around here, okay? Anywhere there or before. So if you were to jump in here, just remember, you could be failing. I would be looking at this as an intraday, see if I can jump in if it breaks above it, because you've missed the run already. It's already started. If you're in already, I would say not a problem. If not, you know, I'd look for another confirmation, bid on an intraday, 60 minutes, 180 minutes, 30 minutes, anything to give you an entry point to, you know, put an appropriate stop in place so you don't get caught out. So that's really the best I can do with this one here also. Look, I've just completed all of them. I just answer a question to somebody that's asked. I'll have a look at the Aussie dollar Malaysian. I'll email it to you if I, Sergi, if I actually can find it. I will do it for you, but I won't look for it right now. To everybody else, look, I hope it has been useful. I think it's a time in the market where you need to have a lot of patience. Don't be too eager to trade. I think you really got to look at very short-term stuff. We saw a few potentials for trades, but what we're really seeing today is more consolidation. And look very carefully, especially if you've got something related to that area of that particular area, like finance. You start looking at, you know, if it's banks, look at other banks, how they work together. Does one have a pattern that the other one does? You know, you're holding on. Do I hold in longer? Has it hit my target, or should I hold a bit longer? Is there another target available? And so forth. I strongly recommend you can basically, like I said, have a lot of patience at this point. There's a lot of indecision that is happening. And if it's something, if you're looking at penny dreadfuls, please be very, very careful because especially in mining, because things can change so drastically, and I've seen it for many, many years. So don't get caught in any garbage stocks and with a lot of money tied up, and all of a sudden you find you're sitting at $1, and before you know it, you're sitting at 10 cents. So please be careful. Please send me your request prior to the day if you can at webinars@phoenixo.com.au, and I'm happy to do them as I've been doing all of them. That way you get the best benefit. You know, I can analyze it, and I do it as I do always live. So let me know. I hope you enjoyed the webinar, and I do wish you the very best in your trading, and good luck with everything. Thank you so much, and have a great day.